Hello everyone, this is Pami Jaiswal
Hi, this is Payal Agarwal.
and we welcome all of you back again to our Saransh series on SEBI laws. For those who've not been able to view our earlier episodes on Saransh series, let me introduce to you what Saransh series is all about. Now, Saransh series is basically a fast-track discussion on the core content about SEBI laws and regulations. And it is more so relevant for companies which have recently become listed or are going to get their securities listed on the exchange. We've already done our episodes on the SEBI LODR regulations and we have uploaded these episodes. The link you can find in the caption below. Today's episode, we are going to start with the series on the PIT regulations, the SEBI PIT regulations, which are very significant regulations. Today, we are going to do a complete overview on the PIT regulations where we cover three basic components. First, starting with what is the intent behind framing the PIT regulations. Second, what is the basic framework of this PIT regulation? And third, what are the major controls under the PIT regulations? To start with, let us understand that on which all entities is the PIT regulation applicable. This is a very common confusion which several entities till date have you can say a confusion on. They're not clear about it. So companies which have listed their securities or have proposed to list any of its securities on the stock exchanges will have to comply with the PIT regulations for such securities, right? So if a company has both listed and unlisted security, the compliances under the PIT regulations will be limited to the listed securities, right? Or the securities which are proposed to be listed. Now, with this, let's understand the PIT regulations. What does it intend to prohibit? It intends to prohibit insider trading, right? So, any trading, any communication, any procurement, sharing, dealing of insiders news or information which is in the nature of unpublished price sensitive information or UPSI, and having an advantage or an edge over other participants in the market is what PIT regulation looks at prohibiting. And in fact, to deal with that, there are several controls under this framework which are provided and the listed entities required to comply with the same. Over to you, Payal.
So, prohibition of insider trading regulations are applicable to regulate and prohibit trading. Now, trading by whom? Here we are talking about trading by an insider. And when we mention an insider, that is actually an entire universe consisting of three particular limbs. One is the connected persons or CPs. Next is the designated persons or DPs. And third is any other person who can be reasonably expected to have access to UPSI. And UPSI, dealing with UPSI, doing anything while in possession of UPSI is something that is regulated by the PIT regulations. Now, what is UPSI? UPSI means any unpublished price sensitive information. That is an information that is not generally available to the public, and the information has the potential to create a material impact on the prices of the securities as and when it comes to the knowledge of the public, right? There is a restriction on sharing of UPSI as well as procurement of UPSI. And this restriction is subject to only one exception. The exception is with respect to sharing of UPSI for legitimate purpose. Now, what is legitimate purpose is not defined under the regulations, and a listed entity is required to have guidelines around the same in the Code of Fair Disclosures of the company to ensure the meaning of legitimate purpose for sharing of insider information.
In fact, whenever a company shares UPSI for legitimate business purposes, there are several controls or precautions which the company has to take. So starting with entering into a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement that needs to be executed prior to sharing UPSI. Now here we want to clarify that it's not mandatory, or it should rather be taken as a fair compliance if the company sharing UPSI gives a confidentiality notice to the recipient of such UPSI and such recipient acknowledges the receipt of such confidentiality notice. You need not mandatorily have to execute or sign a specific or a specified format agreement for this. Second is, whenever there is sharing of UPSI in the company, that is internally in the company or externally with any third party, there is a requirement or an instant actionable on the company to make an entry in the structured digital database. We'll be dealing with the, you can say the nuances and the requirements of SDD in the upcoming episode, but just to maybe mention here that this is again a very, very important compliance which the compliance officer or any other responsible officer in the entity needs to ensure. The third requirement, before I say, I need to mention that while we'll be dealing with the DP's concept in more detail in the upcoming episodes, but it is important to mention here that DPs, because of their positions, because of their role, because of their function, they have pretty much more access to UPSI than any other person in the entity, in the organization, and therefore for them there are several compliances in the PIT regulations that revolve around them. It requires them to do several things. So starting with the first one, that is closure of trading window, which is a notional window which is closed at least 4 times in a financial year, which precisely is at the end of every quarter, and at any other time when the compliance officer thinks or any other officer in the company thinks that there is UPSI generated or germinated in the organization. In fact, to ensure that there is absolute no trading during the regular trading window closure period, that is at the quarterly trading window closure period, there is a SEBI requirement which very, very, you can say very, very recently has been brought in, and pursuant to which there is a complete freezing of the PAN of the DPs. So there would absolutely be no trading when there are regular trading window closure periods. In fact, after this, there are requirements on contra trade, which I think, Payal, you can say.
Right. So even when the trading window is open, in that case also, if a DP wants to trade in the securities of a listed company, it is required to first of all obtain a pre-clearance from the compliance officer of the listed entity. At the time of obtaining the pre-clearance, the DP is required to give a declaration that the trading is not based or motivated or influenced on the basis of any UPSI with relation to the company. Not only this, the DP needs to ensure that the trade does not result in a contra trade. And what do we mean by contra trade? It means that the DP needs to ensure the trade does not result in a reversal of the position the DP had taken earlier during a period of 6 months before the proposed trade. As and when the DP trades in the securities of a company, pursuant to a PAN-based system-driven disclosure, the details are automatically reported to the stock exchange. And the compliances that we are mentioning about the DPs, these are not only limited to the DPs, but also extends to the immediate relatives of the DPs as defined under the insider trading regulations.
Right.
Moving further, a listed company is also required to adopt at least 2 mandatory codes with respect to the insider trading regulations. One is a code of conduct for the designated persons, and another is a code of fair disclosure that ensures the company's policy for uniform dissemination of information to the public.
Correct. And I think with this, the last part of today's episode, where it's important to mention that these requirements of the PIT regulations is not only limited to the listed entity, but also extends to the fiduciaries and the intermediaries. Like, for example, consultants like us, wherein we are also required to follow certain compliances. For example, having our own code of conduct or maintaining a structured digital database. So we'll deal with all of these in much more detail in the upcoming episodes. But for today, this is all we have, and we thank you again for listening to us, and we'll be open for any feedback coming to us. Thank you.